So an industry insider decided to drop an absolute bombshell accusation about that certain nameless person into the media. You can see this in the article itself. See the headline here? Bombshell. Insider exposes plot to ruin JD. Now, according to the outlet reporting on this bombshell had been dropped to them by a former production executive at New Line Cinema. One they describe as, quote, a film industry insider who has worked with many an A-list talent and has a wealth of experience that sent them an absolute bombshell. And the bombshell letter that they're reporting on, it deals with two little words that aren't so little: due process, and a plot to remove due process from a certain pirate. And the names that they say are involved in this, well, let's just say those people, they have taken other accusations all the way to Congress, had political figures talk about those, and you know what? They turned out not to be true. Now, you and I, we're going to go over this bombshell accusation, and when we do, when you see political figures named in this, remember, this isn't about politics. Those people were duped by these accusations as well. This is about society, and maybe, just maybe, we can see societal change because of this stuff. Yeah, buckle up, because this stuff, it just gets crazier by the day. Oh, man. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. If you would, share this video far and wide. Everyone deserves to see what's going on. Don't know if it'll get out there either without your help. Also, feed that pesky algorithm. It loves likes, comments. It wants to hold your hand too. Oh, let it. Also, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're still subscribed. And if you haven't, well, check it out and thank you. So, first thing, to give credit where credit is due, this comes to us from Pop Topic. Now, Pop Topic, if you haven't heard of them, they've actually done a good job covering things that are coming out about this specific case and about these specific people. The mainstream, they won't cover this stuff either. I mean, that should say something. So yeah, check them out, and props to them for putting this together. So like I was saying at the beginning of this, if you want to look this article up and understand what it's about, well, you can see it in the title here. Bombshell. Insider exposes plot to ruin JD. JD target in plot to, well, we're going to use the word ruin due process. Now, here's the way that the outlet describes what transpired. Quote, a film industry insider who has worked with many an A-list talent and has a wealth of experience sent us an absolute bombshell email that could potentially expose a plot to destroy a certain pirate, all in the name of activism and politics. Isn't that the way? You know, one thing that's probably not added there, the word that should be added, is agenda. Agenda, along with those things, they are used all too often to try to take down people's occupations, reputations, and it works. It works way, way too often. So as they note, quote, a former production executive at New Line Cinema believes that a certain nameless person may have been contacted by an influential and well-connected member of an activist group and the author of the infamous Emily Doe letter to get her organization worldwide recognition by smearing one of Hollywood's most beloved actors. Now that, by the way, would get you worldwide recognition. If you could take down someone like that and connect your organization to them, that would give you power and beyond. So the industry insider, they start out talking about the Office of Civil Rights, that certain nameless person as ambassador, and so much more. That nameless person was one in a line of quote-unquote ambassadors that had been recruited by nonprofits closely associated with the Violence Against Women Act and the Office of Civil Rights. These are the same groups that wanted to engage young women voters and thought that accosting and DV conversations would engage them, and which they did. Now then they go on to talk about the Office of Civil Rights. And you have to remember that the Office of Civil Rights, many of the people that are engaged there, they are firmly against due process. This has resulted in approximately 700 federal lawsuits, of which 300 or so have been ruled in favor of accused people whose due process rights they have been denied. Now then they start talking about the players involved here. And the interesting thing about the players involved in all of that that stuff, they're also tied to that nameless person. They're tied to the organizations that have helped push this stuff forward. Interesting overlap, isn't it? Now, from there, they detail many a specific case, many a specific player, and some of those players you'll recognize meeting up with that nameless person. This person, for example, we're going to talk about them in just a moment, but in November 2016, shortly after that nameless person's divorce, but before she accused JD of, well, you know the type of accusations, she met this person at an award show. In 2018, that nameless person honored them in their Washington Post ACLU op-ed. Again, you know about what hashtag. Now, Michelle D has a very interesting past that's spelled out in this. This includes their involvement in trials and the subsequent recall of a judge. Why? Because of behind-the-scene collusion between Michelle D, the judge, and a district attorney. Now, Michelle D also is allegedly being investigated for election fraud, but more than that, their involvement in the Emily Doe letter. Basically, that letter, it was supposed to be written by someone else. It was actually written by Michelle D, and that went to the highest levels of power, with it going before Congress and actually having Joe Biden respond to it. He thought he was responding to another person that wrote that letter. It was all set up by Michelle D. And this is a person, again, that has a tie, according to all of that, to that nameless person. Now, along with that person, you also have the tie-in to Roberta Kaplan. I'm sure you know that name by now if you've kept up with this trial. But Roberta Kaplan co-founded Time's Up, and they've been involved with other cases that turned out to absolutely not be true. Not only that, but when defending people that have been involved with false accusations, they said that the students that were involved in that, it didn't even hurt their education. That hadn't even been significantly impacted. Imagine that. Imagine your life being turned upside down. People saying, that didn't even hurt you at all. And well, look at what other name was tied into those protests as well. Now, the article in the letter, it includes a lot more too. It would take us like 20 to 30 minutes to go through it all. But really, what you need to intake is this. That nameless person in 2016, they end up making contact with Michelle D. Michelle D, they credit as an inspiration to come forward to talk about everything that's gone on. When you look at them, you look at people like Roberta Kaplan and on, when they're involved in all of this, what they all gain from it. Ask yourself what exactly is going on. That insider there, they lay out what they say is going on. They say all of these people together, they tried to hit heights. Those heights, they were built on destroying a person's legacy, destroying their reputation, destroying their occupation. And it's crazy when you think about it. It's crazy and then some. But anyhow, let me know what you think about this stuff and look up the article too. Make sure you fill in all those gaps. Let me know if you want to go through this in live stream too. We can go through that as well. But let me know what you think. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work, so thank you. Want to help out the channel in different ways? We have Patreon, PayPal, membership, merchandise, so many good things out there. You being here, though, that matters, so thank you. I appreciate you, and we will see you soon.